Shout out to sending me this article that is coming out of Florida. And let me tell you, when I tell you history tends to repeat itself, this story is the definition of that statement almost to the exact T. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of Luis Santos, and he was working, I guess, as a, how can I put it? He was pretending to be more than what he was. I'll put it like that. And he basically saw this black boy who you see in the picture next to him. They have his image blurred, riding on his bicycle at night in his neighborhood. It looks like, I don't know where he was coming from, but he has a book bag on. It looks like a uniform. I don't know where he was coming from. And he just pulled up beside him and started to question this boy. Now, this plays out just like another story that we all know too well. And that is, of course, Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman back in 2012, which of course ended a more tragic way, with Trayvon Martin being murdered by George Zimmerman, and unfortunately George Zimmerman getting off for his murder. Now it's crazy too, because George Zimmerman could have been classified as a quote-unquote Hispanic, depending on who you talk to. This guy right here could be classified as Hispanic just on his name alone. And then you have this black teen, Trayvon Martin, who was a black teen. It's dark outside here. It was dark outside then. In a Florida neighborhood. Looks like a Florida suburb. Stopped to question him. And it played out even down to the point where this guy did what George Zimmerman did and called the police. And they basically told him, don't approach him. And everything like that. Like, literally, history almost repeated itself. The only difference is the boy is still alive. Unfortunately, Trayvon Martin is not. But what has come of this is that this guy has been charged with false imprisonment, which means he stopped this boy from going wherever he was going, even though he had no grounds to do so, after he illegally detained him. Let me tell y'all something. There is no black and brown coalition. Whoever came, I don't know who came up with that shit. I keep asking that. I think people keep telling me, but I keep forgetting. But whoever came up with that, they need to have the shit smacked out of them. And I just have a feeling it was a black person that came up with it. But let me go ahead and read this article coming from Black Enterprise. A Florida man has been charged for illegally detaining a black teenager early last month who was on his way to a basketball practice in a case that is being looked at as a possible racial profiling, according to WFLA. Now, they said last month. This article was put out today, July 31st. And it said early last month, as in June. 54-year-old Luis Santos was arrested last weekend in the office of Hillsborough State Attorney Andrew Warren has filed a false imprisonment charge against him for the incident. False imprisonment is a third-degree felony punishable up to 5 years in prison if convicted. The unidentified teenager was on his way to basketball practice while riding his bicycle at 5:34 a.m. on June 9th along Lakeshore Ranch Drive. Santos has been accused of stopping the black teenager and holding him against his will. The evidence shows the victim had not committed any crime, and Santos made misleading statements to law enforcement about what he had witnessed, Warren's office said in an email. The young man felt threatened and was not free to leave, while Santos acted as though he had the legal authority of a law enforcement officer, including compelling the victim to put his hands in the air until sheriff's deputies arrived. They love to flex authority like they got balls of steel. And they love to do it against people that are seemingly smaller than them in stature. According to a cell phone video that was provided on 8 on Your Side, the clip shows Santos drive up next to the teenager as he asks him if he lived in the neighborhood. Santos ends up calling 911 and told them that I have somebody breaking into cars. We have it on video. That's how they always like to paint black boys, black males, and period in general as these savages so they could have the authority to do whatever it is. Heard this guy just blatantly lied on this boy and said he saw him breaking into cars at 5:34 a.m. on a bicycle. If someone's going to be breaking into cars, I highly doubt that they would do it on a bicycle. I don't know many people that break into someone's car while they're on a bicycle, but okay. When the 911 operator asks the teen's race, the man replies he's a black guy. Notice he calls him a black guy and not a black boy, meaning he aged him. That's the same thing that they did with Tamir Rice. You stay right where you are at, the man yells at the teen as heard on the 911 call. I think he stole one of the bikes, Santos said in the 911 operator. He later identified himself to the 911 operator as an off-duty officer, although that is not what he is. What happened that morning should upset everyone in our community, Warren said in a statement. We have skilled police officers. We don't need vigilantes confronting people on the street. The victim was visibly shaken and hyperventilating when deputies arrived with his hand still over his head. He reasonably believed his life may be in jeopardy if he tried to leave or even more. Santos had no lawful authority to restrain a person in a public place, and his own recorded words established that he was restraining the victim by threat against his will. He needs to have a bigger charge than that, because luckily this guy did not have a gun, because he could have been trigger happy like shit and shot this boy just because he felt like it. But see, this is us against the world. It's us literally against everybody. It's not just us against palm color people. It's us against everybody. Everybody hates our goddamn guts. He was just looking for a reason to mess with somebody black that day, and he just happened to see this boy on his bike minding his business, getting ready to head to basketball practice or whatever the hell he was getting ready to head. He didn't even have to be there. But people have a problem minding their business when it comes to us. They always have to know what we are into or what we are doing. That has of no concern to them. I wonder what life would be like if we did not exist. Sometimes I swear that's the reason why they brought us over here. Because they wanted to keep tabs on us. Or maybe because their lives would be that much of a bore fest. And that's why, and again, like I said, that's why I said that the black and brown thing does not work. Here's a perfect example of that. This literally just played out just like Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, with the exception of the fact that this boy is still alive. And he lied. He lied on that boy and said that he was breaking into cars when he knew damn well he wasn't, and lied when he said he was an off-duty cop. He should be charged on that. But they're not going to. They're only going to give him the bare minimum 5 years up to. That's nothing. He could have caused great harm to this kid. That could have been his last time seeing his family. Last time his family saw him. He's extremely lucky. And I know he probably was terrified, like, what the hell is going on? People are like, this is a routine for me every day, and I don't run into anything like this at all. And then you have this guy right here who just felt like messing with somebody black that day. I bet you he would not have done that to a white person. He would not have done that to an Asian person. And he damn sure wouldn't have done that to a person that identified as he did. But the minute he saw a black male, no matter what the age is, oh, he's breaking into cars. Oh, he stole the bike. All just to mess with him that day. I swear we cannot catch a damn break. We can't even sneeze without the world wondering why are we sneezing like that, or why do we sneeze at all.